Have you ever gotten out of bed in the morning, started your day like usual, and then felt your heart racing a little faster than normal? Maybe a bit of dizziness when you stood up, or a slight headache you brushed off with a cup of coffee. You might have chalked it up to getting older or not sleeping well, but what if those little signs were your body's way of saying, hey, something's off? High blood pressure doesn't usually show up with sirens or flashing lights. It creeps in quietly. And for a lot of folks over 60, it's already been creeping for years. The truth is, it's one of the most common and most dangerous conditions facing older adults. But what most people don't realize is that some of the smallest habits, especially the ones we repeat every morning without thinking, can be the very things pushing our blood pressure up without us even knowing it. Your morning sets the tone for your entire day. And if you're making certain mistakes right after waking up, things that seem harmless or even normal, they could be putting stress on your heart before you've even had your first bite of breakfast. In this video, we're talking about 4 of the most common morning mistakes that can quietly spike your blood pressure and how you can fix them with small, simple shifts. No medication, no complicated routines. Just a better way to take care of your heart, starting the moment you open your eyes. Let's begin with the one that most people don't think twice about jumping out of bed too fast. If you're someone who hears the alarm, throws off the covers, and stands up immediately, I get it. We're all busy, and sometimes the day feels like it's already pulling us before we've even had time to breathe. But here's what happens inside your body when you do that. While you sleep, your blood pressure naturally dips. It's your body's way of resting and recharging. When you suddenly go from lying down to standing upright, especially if you've been still all night, your heart has to work overtime to get blood flowing upward again. That sudden shift can cause a sharp spike in blood pressure, or even a drop that leaves you feeling lightheaded or dizzy. That's especially risky if you already deal with hypertension or are on medication. One wrong step, and you could find yourself holding onto the dresser for balance or worse, falling. And it's not about being fragile. It's about being smart with how you start your day. A better way. Give yourself a moment. When you wake up, stay lying down for a minute. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Stretch your arms overhead. Roll gently onto your side, then push yourself up slowly to sit. Take a few deep breaths while you sit on the edge of the bed. Let your body catch up with your mind. It's not laziness, it's self-care. Those extra 60 seconds could mean the difference between a calm morning and a dangerous one. Now, once you're up, what's the next thing many of us do without thinking? Head straight to the kitchen and brew a strong cup of coffee. And don't get me wrong, I love a good cup of coffee just as much as anyone. But drinking caffeine on an empty stomach first thing in the morning can be a real shock to the system, especially if you already deal with high blood pressure or heart sensitivity. Caffeine stimulates the nervous system. It gives you that jolt, that alert feeling. But if your body hasn't had any food or hydration yet, that jolt can come on too strong. It can cause your blood vessels to constrict and your heart rate to jump, just what we don't want if we're trying to keep blood pressure steady. I'm not saying you need to quit coffee, but timing matters. Try starting your day with a glass of water, just plain water, maybe warm with a little lemon if you like. Give your body a chance to rehydrate after a full night of sleep. Then eat something small before that cup of joe. A banana, a slice of whole grain toast, even a handful of nuts. Something to act as a buffer between the caffeine and your bloodstream. You might be surprised how much better you feel when you fuel your body before flooding it with stimulation. No more shaky hands, no more racing heart, and best of all, no more mystery blood pressure spikes. And speaking of that first cup of water, let's talk for a second about hydration. One of the sneakiest causes of morning blood pressure problems is simply not drinking enough water, especially first thing. Think about it. You go 7 or 8 hours without a single sip. Your body wakes up slightly dehydrated. And when you're dehydrated, your blood thickens just a little, making your heart work harder to pump it through your system. Even mild dehydration can lead to a noticeable increase in blood pressure, especially in older adults. Your kidneys rely on water to balance sodium levels. Your heart relies on it to maintain a steady rhythm. And your brain, it needs it just to keep you feeling clear and focused. So before you reach for the coffee or the toast or even your phone, reach for a glass of water. Keep it by your bedside if that helps you remember. And don't chug it. Sip it slowly and give your body time to absorb it. You'll start your day with more energy, fewer headaches, and a much happier cardiovascular system. Now that we've looked at what happens when we rise too fast, sip caffeine too early, or skip hydration, you might already be thinking, wow, I do that every day. And that's okay. Most people do. No one teaches us how to protect our blood pressure when we're younger. But the good news is, it's never too late to start paying attention and making changes that really matter. Once we've made it through the initial rush of getting up, maybe sipped a little water, and had a small bite to eat, it's tempting to start thinking about the day ahead. The to-do list, the errands appointments, maybe a few things around the house we've been meaning to tackle. And that's perfectly normal. But here's something that might surprise you. How you mentally start your day can have just as much of an impact on your blood pressure as anything you put on your plate. A lot of people don't realize that stress doesn't wait until lunchtime to show up. For many, it kicks in the moment the eyes open. You might lie there thinking about what hurts, what's coming, or what didn't get done yesterday. And if you reach for your phone before your feet hit the floor, suddenly you're reading upsetting news, scrolling through emails, or seeing messages that demand your attention. That mental load, it's real. And it sends a signal to your body time to get tense. That early stress response releases cortisol and adrenaline, those fight-or-flight hormones. They raise your heart rate. They tighten your blood vessels. And yes, they raise your blood pressure. You haven't even had breakfast yet, but your body's already acting like it's under attack. It's easy to think, well, that's just life. But the truth is, we have more control than we think. You don't have to meditate for an hour or chant affirmations in the mirror, unless you want to, of course. Sometimes all it takes is a little space. A few quiet minutes before the world rushes in. Instead of starting your day in reactive mode, try setting a simple morning boundary. Maybe you don't check the news or email until after breakfast. Maybe you sit with your coffee near a window, look outside, and take 5 slow, deep breaths. Maybe you whisper to yourself, let's take this one thing at a time. These small moments of calm signal to your nervous system that you're safe, that there's no emergency. And that message travels through your whole body, lowering tension, calming your pulse, and yes, helping to keep your blood pressure steady and grounded. And while we're talking about things that set the tone, here's one more morning habit that tends to fly under the radar, but has a bigger effect than most people realize: skipping breakfast altogether. Now I know some people simply aren't hungry in the morning. Others may skip breakfast to lose weight or because they're used to pushing it off. But going too long without eating, especially after your body has been fasting overnight, can actually trigger stress inside your system. When you skip breakfast, your blood sugar dips. Your body in turn releases cortisol to help boost that sugar back up. But cortisol, as we mentioned earlier, also raises blood pressure. So while you might think you're doing your body a favor by delaying that first meal, what you're actually doing is asking your heart and your adrenal glands to work overtime just to keep things stable. Plus, if you wait too long to eat, you're more likely to overeat later or grab something quick, salty, or processed because you're overly hungry. And guess what? Those kinds of foods are the very things that make high blood pressure worse. You don't need a big, complicated meal. Even something as simple as half a banana with some nut butter, a slice of whole grain toast with avocado, or a boiled egg with a handful of berries can be enough to stabilize your blood sugar, lower your stress hormones, and give your body the signal that everything is okay. Think of breakfast as a kindness, not a task or a chore, a quiet moment where you choose to nourish yourself before the day asks anything of you. And let's be honest, if you're dealing with high blood pressure or trying to prevent it from creeping up, these small habits can be more powerful than most people realize. It's not about chasing perfection. It's about giving your body the conditions it needs to function smoothly. And your morning habits, they shape your entire day. So as you go about tomorrow, just pause for a moment. Notice if you're leaping out of bed too fast. Notice if you're reaching for caffeine before hydration. Notice what you let into your mind in those first few minutes of the day. And ask yourself, how do I want to feel today? Calm, clear-headed, strong, because how you begin matters. And when you make even one of these changes, moving slower, eating sooner, breathing deeper, you're telling your body, I care about you. And that care adds up. Day by day, it becomes your new normal. Next, we'll explore one final mistake many people make without realizing how much it can influence their heart health, and how a small shift in your routine can keep your blood pressure more balanced and your mornings more peaceful. One more morning habit we need to talk about, and this one might surprise you, is skipping movement first thing in the day. Now, I'm not talking about hitting the gym at 6 a.m. or running around the block before breakfast. I mean, gentle, intentional movement just enough to tell your body, hey, we're up and we're ready to go. See, after a night of lying still, your circulation slows down. Your joints can feel a little stiff, your muscles a little tight, and your blood vessels aren't quite as flexible as they were a few decades ago. And if you go from sleeping to sitting maybe on the couch with the remote or hunched over the newspaper, your blood pressure can get even more sluggish and unpredictable. What your body really craves in the morning is motion. A light walk around the house, a few minutes of stretching by your bed, maybe some slow arm circles, shoulder rolls, or even reaching up overhead and taking a long breath. These aren't just about flexibility. They actually help your heart get into a healthy rhythm for the day. When you gently move your body, you're helping your blood vessels open up. You're warming up the muscles that support your circulation. You're encouraging oxygen to reach your brain and tissues. And all of that works together to keep your blood pressure more balanced and your energy more stable. Now, some people say, but I don't have time in the morning, or I don't feel steady on my feet right after waking. And I hear you. But this doesn't need to be a workout. It's just movement. Even doing a few stretches while sitting on the edge of your bed or walking slowly down the hall with your hand along the wall for support can make a real difference. You're waking up your circulation. That's the goal. And here's a bonus. It helps with mood too. Gentle movement in the morning signals your brain to release feel-good chemicals. You may not notice it instantly, but over time, that little burst of motion can reduce anxiety, improve focus, and yes, even help lower your blood pressure long-term. So now that we've talked through these morning habits, rising too quickly, drinking caffeine on an empty stomach, loading your mind with stress-skipping breakfast, and avoiding movement, you might be thinking, that's a lot to change. But here's the truth. You don't have to change everything at once. You just start with one thing. Maybe tomorrow morning, you sit for a minute before standing. Or you drink a glass of water before anything else. Or you swap that phone for 5 minutes of peaceful quiet before the day begins. These small acts are powerful. They're the kind of changes that protect your heart, not just for today, but for the years ahead. And if you're someone who's already managing high blood pressure, don't feel discouraged. These habits aren't about replacing your medication or solving everything overnight. They're about supporting your body in a way that feels good, natural, and sustainable. They're about giving yourself the best possible foundation for every day, because your heart works hard for you every single minute of every single day. Isn't it time we gave it a little help in return? And if you're someone who feels like it's too late to make a difference, please don't believe that. Your body is always listening. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, 80, or older. Every kind choice you make for yourself adds up. And when your body feels cared for, it starts to respond with steadier energy, more restful sleep, clearer thinking, and yes, better blood pressure. So take a moment and ask yourself, What's one small shift I can make tomorrow morning? One tiny gift to my future self. Maybe it's a slower start. Maybe it's a healthy breakfast. Maybe it's a deep breath before the world begins to rush in. And when you make that choice, remember, you're not alone. Thousands of people just like you are learning how to live smarter, move slower, and protect their hearts with grace. You're part of something bigger, a quiet movement toward better mornings, better habits, and better health, one gentle step at a time. If any of this resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. In the comments, what's something you've done in the morning that's helped you feel calmer or more in control? Let's learn from each other because shared wisdom is powerful. If this video helped you in any way, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like more videos like this, practical, heart-friendly, and made just for you, don't forget to subscribe. This channel is here to support you every step of the way. Here's to better mornings, steady hearts, and the kind of life that makes you feel proud at any age. You've earned it.